Welcome to OWAD Today. I'm Sophie, piloting to the Universal Chinese. Today, let's unpack the last character of this week. That's involving a tree with a dot on the top right corner. And this character, in contemporary simplified Chinese version, is quite misleading because it doesn't really have anything to do with tree or wood. It has something to do with the plant. So if we compile everything together of just one English word translation of this shu character, the closest would be art. And if you look at the traditional Chinese, it's a lot more complicated. We see it's three parts. And if you know Chinese a little bit, you remove the middle tree with a dot. The left and right parts actually came from the same part, and they used to be symmetrical. Now it looks asymmetrical, and it means walking. Basically, 6 total footsteps, left and right footsteps, and it used to be looking the same, right? Because it's the same person's 2 feet. But then eventually it got on the left, it got slanted with this vertical line. On the right, it got horizontalized. Actually, the slanted version was closer to the original representation of how footstep would look like. And then got this vertical line with a hook. Okay, all these are transformation to keep the character easier to write and to, like, for the eyes to recognize, right? So it's for the utilitarian purpose. But, okay, traditional Chinese have this, and it means walking, represented by footsteps. And then in the middle of it, this tree with 1 dot actually came from this character. Looks like the right part of this character. Okay, if you have been following a little bit of this channel, this imagery is pretty common seen. It's this 3-finger hand symbol with the wrist, everything here. And then if we extract this imagery as hand, and then we have something extra added in between this here, and then we have 2 vertical lines here added, and all that, according to scholars, it means kind of a sticky rice that gets stick onto your arm, onto your forearm, and your fingers. So it's something sticky. With this crop imagery paired with it, it means the type of sticky plant. And here in the traditional Chinese, that not only with this character on the right part of the 2,000 years ago Xushen dictionary, with this walking sign sandwich, this character in the middle, that means the road, the ancient paved road. The ancient technology would be used sticky rice type of material to glue things together, right? So it provides a kind of a cushion, avoid gravels, like disengaged, I shouldn't say that, the parts and particles, that dusty environment without a paved road. So this is ancient paved road technology with sticky rice. And traditional Chinese kept that, and it's almost like a extra spelling to make it explicit. Versus contemporary Chinese, we just leave with actually this hand symbol with a stickiness around it, but kind of, it looks like a tree and then deformed or transformed to represent with a tree with a dot over there. But if you see here, it's human hand. So that's some beguiling recharacterization of this character. And now we know it's the paved road, ancient version. And that in Chinese imply pathways. So routing in ancient, I guess, maze of a city, if you know where to go, if you know the closest way, right? Like without GPS, how you navigate to find your shortest pathway. So that paved road or finding your pathway leads to this character of art, because this art in Chinese specifically means like you have a particular kind of a trade or knowledge or craftsmanship that you work with the material, most likely with your hands, and you learn the pathways, kind of hacks, right? A series systematic hacks about working with a particular thing. And that's like build pathways through the city. So you kind of probably through trials and errors until you perfect your craftsmanship and turn that craftsmanship into a form of art, become like a freedom of expression. When you're so good, you can just free to express because you have the skills. Now, a few examples of 话术. 话 means speak. In particularly, it's about using the words and your self-expression, or more about like dialogue, conversational. So closest translation 话 is more like a speech. Make it externalized. 术, so the art, the pathway, or the hacks, even collective hacking of speech. That's a Chinese way to say rhetoric. 魔术, 魔 is a Chinese way to say something beyond your kind of illusion, something you don't, it kind of against the common sense or physics, the ancient understanding of physics, how things work, right? So it's kind of creating an illusion. The art of illusion, we all know that's magic. So Chinese translation of magic is 魔术, 艺术. 艺 means exactly the craftsmanship. That's working with your hands, and you're so good with it, you turn that into an art. And that's Chinese translation of art. And of course, this art can be 2D, 3D, or performance art. And all this fall into 艺术 in the Chinese translation. And I think in English as well, art. If you just say art without the defining descriptors in front of it, we wouldn't, venture. Maybe most likely be visual art, because those are easily preserved, easily communicated, retrieved or presented. So you see a still frame, you see that, that represents art, but other forms of art also exist. So this is visual art. Tools for visual art creation, representation to say, okay, this 术 is a Chinese way of art, and it came from the sticky rice that used to build paved roads, and eventually becomes pathway, the quick way, including your neurons, right, in your brain, that you were able to find out the best way to do something, and over time, that distilled, that matured into a form of art. Thank you for your time. See you another day.